Hello everyone and welcome to DC Central, and in today's video we're going to be breaking down and reviewing Legends of Tomorrow Season 4 Episode 10, otherwise entitled Luce de Apuestos, and it's a doozy. So as you can tell by the tone of my voice, I am not very pleased to be doing this review. It's already a couple of days late, as I'm sure you can tell. Yeah, this episode's a bit shit. I feel like this episode and this review is going to be incredibly ranty. So just prepare yourselves, buckle in, because we're in for a rough one. So my opinion on Legends so far this season has not been very, very positive. I think this season has been dreadful. I think it's been just a hodgepodge of really poorly done jokes, and the problem with this season is that they are purely focusing on the jokes, whereas with Season 3, which I absolutely loved, like, let me just justify, I mean, if you've been watching this channel for a while, you'll know, I love Legends. I even love Season 1, right? And I thought Season 2 was even better. I think Season 3 is perfect. And the reason why Season 3 worked so well was because it had such a fantastic story, and the jokes really came out of that. The problem with Season 4 of Legends is everything is jokes, and the whole story of the season is written around the jokes, and it's like the jokes come first, and that is where the problem lies here. And that's been my opinion on Season 4 so far. But anyway, enough about this whole season. This episode 10, this is obviously the mid-season premiere. We've been waiting for this episode. Legends has been gone for like 4 months, so we've been waiting for this episode. The main story of this episode is we have the werewolf character, Kunane, I think his name is. He is in Mexico doing wrestling, and we have to go there because we need to sort it out. So my main problem with this, the wrestling idea isn't terrible. The problem with it is it makes no logical sense, because you have this werewolf who can't speak English, can't speak language in general. So what, did he just rock up to this place and just announce himself as this wrestler, and he's now become the undefeated champion? Like, how did this happen? Like, how did this come about? Because he can't just show up and talk to people. He doesn't talk. We've seen this. It's ridiculous. So the fact that, this is kind of like the main anchor point for this storyline infuriates me. And I know a lot of people are going to say, oh, well, you just need to switch your brain off and watch this. It's Legends. Yeah, I know how ridiculous Legends is. I saw the Season 3 finale. I saw Bebo take down Malice. I know how ridiculous the show is. But when there's no logic involved, that's when it annoys me. Like I say, it's just stupidity. Like, how did Kunane, or whatever the hell his name is, how did he get himself into this situation without people suspecting there's something a bit funny about that guy? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's ridiculous. So the fact that there's no logic involved, that's what annoys me. And what's even worse about this whole thing is the love story between this character and the character of Mona, who is now becoming a focal point of this season for some reason. She is not only a terrible actress, but a terrible character as well. I think that this relationship, I mean, we all know the CW is the king of ships, but come on. Like, this is a step too far now. This is just ridiculous. Like, the fact we're having to deal with this, a love story between a girl and a werewolf. No, I draw the line. It's just ridiculous. It doesn't work. You don't buy it at all. And again, it's come about so quickly to the point where you're just like, well, why are we doing this? And this character of Kunane leaves at the end of the episode, so it just feels completely pointless. I don't understand why they did that. But anyway, all that stuff was terrible. The kind of not so bad element of this episode was the stuff with Nate and Zari kind of attending that Time Bureau, upper class dinner thing where they were trying to get information on Hank. Because this is actually relevant to the overall story of the season. This is actually story, this isn't jokes. And granted, there were jokes in these scenes, but again, they came from the story, not the other way around, so it works. This stuff was okay, I suppose. It was basically there just to have some awkward moments between Nate and Zari. I can't quite tell if they're setting up Nate and Zari for a relationship, or if they were just doing that for a joke. I can't tell. I hope not, because that would be a really quick turnaround, and I really don't want them to do that. But this whole thing, it was okay, it was fine. I don't see why this was as big of a deal as some of the other stuff that's happened this season, and I don't know why we're not pushing some of the other storylines, but again, as far as this episode goes, this was the most relevant part, so sure, whatever, I'll take it. But the ending of this episode is where my problems truly lie. where Mona turns into a werewolf. Yeah. And I know that this episode is completely, unprofessional. I know I'm just sat here ranting at the mic with no edits, no cuts. But yeah, Mona just turns into a werewolf. Why? I don't know. I don't know why it happened. I don't know if there's any explanation to it. She just does. Has she always been a creature? Was she a creature from the beginning? Is she a metahuman? What's going on? It's never explained. We don't know what's going on. Yeah. Mona is a werewolf, apparently. And not only is the CGI terrible, but the actress portraying this role is absolutely horrific. And I hate to be this mean, I really do. Like, you guys know this, I like to be positive on this channel, I always try. But this is the straw that broke the camel's back. Like, I've been trying to keep up with Legends, I've been trying to persist with it, but this episode broke me. Like, especially this ending scene. Like, after this scene, I was like, no, this is dumb, I'm done. And, like, this episode, like, it's just a menagerie of just disaster after disaster. And this end scene with Mona, like, I don't know where they're going with the character. I don't know what they're doing with her. I don't know what the point is. She just is all of a sudden a werewolf out of nowhere. So what we're going to do with her now, I don't know. The problem with this, I mean, people have brought this up elsewhere, but this is just not Legends anymore. Like, this isn't a superhero show. Like, the characters never wear their costumes. They never use their powers. I mean, most of the characters on this show don't even have powers. So, I don't know what this is meant to be. I don't know where this show is trying to go. And I thought that this season was going to be, very Constantine-centric, but Constantine is completely wasted in this season. At least he has been so far. And the main villain is supposed to be heavily connected to Constantine. We've barely seen him. Like, he's barely been in this show at all. I don't understand, why they're making all these decisions. It's like the writers have incredibly, misunderstood why we love the show. We love the show because of all the awesome superhero action and all the jokes and hilarity that come with it, not the other way around. We don't like this. This isn't a comedy. Like, this isn't a comedy show. This is a superhero show with comedic elements. It's very, very different. This is now basically a comedy sitcom. Why is it going in this direction? Like I say, I just feel like the writers and the showrunners have completely misunderstood why we loved season 3 so much, and I feel like it's just completely ruining the show. All the characters in it, all the the members of the team, they're all just caricatures of the characters they once were. Like, Sarah has been completely ruined. Like, Sarah was such an amazing character on Arrow, and then moving over to Legends. She was such a good character, and now she's just been destroyed. Mick, who is now just a walking one-liner. Granted, Mick has always been the one-liner guy. I'm aware of that. He's always been the one-liner guy. But now, that's literally all he does. I think in this episode, he only has about 5 lines, and they're all one-liners. So he's literally just spewing out one-liners. And it's just, again, I found, like, most of them to be not even that funny, which I always find Mick funny. I think Mick is hysterical, and I wasn't laughing at his jokes in this episode. Maybe it's just because I was incredibly annoyed, and I was just incredibly frustrated with this episode, but normally Mick can break through that for me, and he doesn't. And that's a problem. That is a big problem. Nate in this season, why is he not a member of the team? He's just off in the Time Bureau. And I understand they wanted to do something different, and he wanted to get away from the team, but he's just not relevant. Like, he's not doing anything. He's only used his powers once this season for about 2 seconds. Literally 2 seconds. And then everyone else is just like Charlie, who is Maisie Richardson-Seller's new character. I really can't stand. Ray is kind of the only consistent one. Like, Ray and Mick are kind of the only consistent ones. Like, they're the ones who kind of have remained the same and are still kind of the characters. Because Ray was always kind of the, positive, dorky one, and Mick was always the jokey one. Like, the flat joke one. So, like, they're kind of similar, but especially, like, Sarah is so... And, like, if you look at Sarah now and look at her back when she was first introduced in Arrow Season 2, she is a completely different character. So, again, all these characters are now just caricatures of the characters they once were. It's absolutely dumbfounded. I am just so bewildered by this season. I'm so done with it. And, like, I don't want to say this because I love Legends. I love it so much. Season 3, I think, is one of the best seasons in the Arrowverse. I think it's incredible. And the fact that we're now, it's fallen from grace so quickly, so hard, it's really upsetting to see. But I have to be honest with you guys, like, this episode was dreadful. It was absolutely appalling. And I don't know how this season can redeem itself. I don't know, because from what I can see going forward, from the sizzle trailer they released, they're not changing the format. Like, this is very much sticking to the same. I really hope for Season 5, like, obviously we know Legends have been renewed for Season 5. I really hope for Season 5 they just go back to what they were doing in season 3 and actually write a good story, because the story of season 3 was great, and that's why it was so entertaining. Like the story itself was entertaining, and the jokes that came out of that were hilarious. This is just the other way around, and this is not what we signed up for. This is not a superhero show, and I know there's a line about that coming up in the actual episode. It was in the trailer, but the fact that people aren't liking it, that's arrogant. So I know this was in a massive rant. I don't like doing rants, but I had to get it off my chest. I'm really not happy with the direction of this season. This is not the Legends I want. This is not the Legends that we've had. And this is not what we should expect from this. But anyway, thank you guys for watching this episode, and thank you for tuning into DC Central. If you want to see more DC content like this, make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss an upload. And I hope to see you guys again next time.